everybody, my name is Lisa. Welcome to Audubon at Home. Today we are in lovely Slater Park here in Pawtucket, and all around us is all this beautiful wildlife and trees. You'll probably hear some birds while we're having our story today. We thought we'd tell a story that takes place in a park like this one. This is a story called City Hawk. City Hawk is the story of Pale Male, and it is written, and all the pictures are by Meghan McCarthy. City Hawk. New York City is bustling with cars and buses and people hurrying to important places. There are lots of buildings, there are lots of streets, and there's lots of pollution. That is why it is so important that people flock to the city's largest park for a needed escape. While in Central Park in New York, these folks can take a nap in the grass, play catch on one of the sprawling lawns, or get a glimpse of a squirrel scurrying up a tree. I bet you've seen that before. What these people never expected to see was wildlife that usually makes their homes in forests or mountaintops or by rivers. Passers-by couldn't believe their eyes when a red-tailed hawk was spotted flying over Fifth Avenue. Bird watchers took an interest in the hawk. They named him Pale Male because of his light feathers. Day after day, month after month, Pale Male could be seen soaring high above Central Park. There he is. After Pale Male was sighted near a pond in Central Park, flying over the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and by a hot dog stand, it was clear he was there to stay. Every year, the same ritual began. One year, Pale Male found a bird named Lola. She was a hawk too. Her feathers were darker than his, and she was bigger in size. Pale Male dove and swooped and fluttered around Lola. Aren't they cute? Together, the two birds gathered twigs and branches and piled them atop an apartment building overlooking Central Park. Large spikes meant to keep pigeons off made it easy for Pale Male and Lola to build their nest. But what they didn't know was, here's Lola, here's Pale Male, and what they didn't know was that they were being watched. Across Fifth Avenue, into Central Park, and past a small body of water called the Boat Pond, a group of people had watched the hawks intently. There were young people, and there were old people, and there were men, and there were women. And the most dedicated of these bird watchers called themselves the regulars. The regulars carried big cameras and big telescopes. They watched the action excitedly, like die-hard fans watching their favorite sporting event. The question on everybody's mind was, did Lola lay eggs? Here's our guys. This is a spotting scope, which is a special birding telescope, some binoculars. Yes, she did! But when would the eggs hatch? The regulars arrived at the park before the sun came up and didn't leave until after the sun went down. They waited in the rain, they waited in the dark, they waited and they waited and they waited. It's hard to be patient like that. Here they are, Lola and Pale Male. Finally, two babies were born. They chirped excitedly for food. Pale Male was a good dad and worked tirelessly, bringing plenty of food for them. The regulars named one baby Handsome and the other baby, Gretel. When the babies grew enough feathers and became strong, it was time for them to learn to fly. Most hawks usually practice flying by hopping from tree to tree, but there were no trees. The babies would have to leap off the tall building and fly across Fifth Avenue. The fall down would be far. They hopped, and they hopped, and they hopped some more, but neither of them flew yet. Here's the little babies hopping around on the top there. Here's the nest. At last, one morning before the sun peaked above the trees, one baby took the first flight, disappearing into the dark blue sky. The daylight brought new excitement. Soon both birds were exploring the park. The regulars watched it all. Their early mornings and their late nights in the park were worth every minute. Here's one of them. Here's the other one. There's a regular trying to take some pictures. You imagine reading your book and having a little young hawk be hopping around nearby. If you go to Central Park, or maybe Slater Park, or maybe Roger Williams Park, or any of the parks that we have in Rhode Island as well, and you watch and you wait, you might see a red-tailed hawk. And come spring, chances are there will be a nest. Inside the nest there will be several eggs with babies ready to greet the world. I hope you get to see that someday. That's the end of this story. Thank you for joining me at Audubon at Home. Have a good day, everyone.